going to move to our moderator now. She has a series of questions, I believe. Shay?
Yeah, listen, I hope you guys are taking notes because I am finding my passion in my pain. I think that is something that everybody can take away from. So if you guys have questions, we'll try to field as many of these questions we can in this hour interview that we have. So go ahead where you see the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, go ahead and put your questions there. But our first question comes from Emerstein, tuning in from Augusta, Georgia. All right, the question is, what do you feel is the best way to launch a social media campaign on a shoestring budget? Hiring a social media marketer can be expensive. I've been trying to do it myself, but with very little success. I'm not tech savvy and I just don't know where to start.
I love that question. And, I don't know if you've ever watched Shark Tank, but the problem that so many startup businesses have is they spend all of their money up front on marketing, right? They'll tell you, hey, we had $1 million in revenue year one, but we spent 3.5 million in marketing. So we're net negative a few million, right? And it's always kind of the anvil that sinks the ship. And so what I think is really important when it comes to social media is that it can work for you or against you. It can work against you if you dump tons of money and resources into marketing because it's going to kill your margins, right? So if you can find a way to DIY, which Steve now knows what that means, do it yourself, then what'll happen is you just crushed it with your margins because take what's probably 80% of your cost out of it. And now that's income back in your pocket. But the problem is like to her point, she doesn't feel tech savvy and she wants to hire somebody, but it's expensive. Why not invest in yourself, right? It's kind of like that. You can bring a man a meal and he'll eat for one night, or you can teach him to fish and he'll eat for forever. Why don't you just hire that social media person or a videographer for a couple hours to teach you how to edit, how to use Splice or Final Cut Pro or iMovie, help them teach you. So you're investing in yourself, right? You're not investing in somebody else to do ads for you. You're investing in yourself to learn. And then you edit it yourself, you film it yourself. I built a following of 4.5 million on an iPhone, right? Like majority of the videos I filmed in the beginning, I edited just in the iMovie or the Splice app on my iPhone. I didn't even pay for software, much less editing courses. So, and my dad always says it takes 1,000 hours of doing something to become an expert. So don't expect yourself to be creating these incredible productions of reels for your first ads that you're posting on your media. Give it time, keep practicing. And then if it can educate somebody or entertain them or inspire them, right? So you teach them something or you make them laugh or you motivate them. If you can hit one of those three or all three of those in a 30 or 60 second reel, its chances of going viral are much higher, or on a TikTok. And then once they start to go viral, the followers come. So bet on yourself by investing in yourself instead of investing in somebody else to do it for you.
See, what she says makes a lot of sense, because I often get asked that question about people about shoestring budget. I can't help you. I'm not on shoestring budget. By the time social media came out, I was here. So, I never had to worry about a shoestring budget. But what I have learned about social media is, like she's talking about, okay, Galey doesn't have the following that Rihanna has, right? But what you got to understand something. Her followers, that 4.5 million, is really trying to figure it out, how to do it yourself. They're really trying to figure out how to improve their home. Maybe looks for their house right here. You got to understand, a lot of these celebrities, you're getting caught up on this Instagram with how many followers they got. A lot of them followers as kids. There's just social media bandits. They just live on social media. Don't get hung up on that number. She has 4.5 million followers. Even before that, you know how she got to 4.5 million followers? When she had 1,000 followers and she put up a video and, like she said, it went viral. Viral means they take your video and they repost it. That don't mean you got to have the followers. They just reposted it. And then eventually that led to some people following her. You can get it going without a ton of followers. Quit looking at what these celebrities have, talking about, I don't have that. Rihanna made her money because she could sell her makeup to 117 million people. Okay, you don't have access to that. But do you have access to 10 people? You got to sell one tube of lipstick to later sell 10, to later sell 100. So you got to get started. I think that's what she says is a great point with that. And just getting started is the way to go. Okay, Shay?
That's awesome. I think it lends itself to this next question for the both of you. What would be the best way to prepare and build your mindset? Galey, we'll let you go first.
Okay. When it comes to your mindset, I think it first comes down to, what are you watching yourself do to yourself when nobody's around, right? What are you doing behind closed doors? Are you making sure that you're getting enough sleep if your body is telling you it's tired? Are you making sure that, you're getting enough nutrients in your diet every day? Are you making sure that you're making space for things that help you recenter you and help you feel calm when you're anxious, right? Like whenever I feel my heart start to race and I know I'm having a lot of anxiety, I literally go into the yard and I play with my dogs and I just recenter and refocus and I put all my attention into them, because it helps me get out of my headspace and brings me back to a calmer place. So I noticed that when I wasn't taking care of myself and I was in a really dark place, the stuff I was doing behind closed doors was not healthy. Right? I was staying up super late watching TV because my mind, I couldn't calm down and I wasn't getting rest. I was not eating well. And I was actually eating very poorly because of my disease. And I was doing the little things, even just simply like knowing we're in a pandemic and not even caring to wash my hands when I got home, like that would make me feel like I'm not taking good care of myself. And that puts you in an unhealthy mental frame of mind. But instead, I'm watching myself when nobody's around do things to set me up for success. I'm betting on myself. I'm wanting myself to win. I'm doing things to keep me healthy. I'm doing things to keep me sane. I'm doing things to help me calm down when I feel things are intense. And that is giving me the strength and the confidence when I wake up in the morning that I'm going to tackle whatever today throws at me, because I'm prepared for it, because I know I'm taking care of me first.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's spot on with it too. In addition to that, if you want to prepare your mind, I always start with a couple of other things too, a few things. First of all, dreams come true. Everything starts in the mind. It usually begins with a dream or begins with your imagination. Those are very important pieces. Albert Einstein had a quote that said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attractions. Whatever you dream and imagine, that's important, man. That's where it starts. And after you have a dream and imagination, you got to start having a belief system. You got to understand and believe that these dreams are in your mind and this imagination is in your mind for a reason. It's put there. It's put there by your creator. You don't just wake up. You're not just imagining nothing like it's hocus pocus, poof out the sky. No, man. Your imagination, your creator places stuff in your imagination as a preview of a coming attraction he has for you. So once you start dreaming, you got to start believing in this stuff. And then the last thing I have for you is you have to feed your mind the right mindset. She hit it right on the head. You got to care about what you eat. You got to care about what you put in your body. You got to care, man. You can't be in shape and just eat cake. I can't. Now my son can do that because he's 24. I used to eat cake all the time. I stayed in great shape. I eat cake now. I look like cake. All I got to do is eat it and I look like cake. It's 65, fat boy. You keep eating cake, you're gonna look like cake. So, you got to feed your mind. I'm going to give you 2 books. I do this all the time, but I can't say it enough. The 2 books that's an absolute must for feeding your mind. They're old books. They're never going to go out of style. They are the beginning. 2 books that's a must. Number 1, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Everybody should read this book. The second book is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. That's the other book. Those two books changed my life, and I read both of those books in my 20s. And they did what they needed to do. It made me start understanding that there was power in thinking positive. There's power in that, man. That's all you need to know. And you can control your thoughts. And secondly, The Magic of Thinking Big. That book right there, it just made me think, because look, it takes no more brain cell energy to have a small thought than it does a big thought. See, Volkswagen, Rolls-Royce, same amount of energy. I didn't have to grunt to say Rolls-Royce. I could just say it. Now, you can say Volkswagen or you can say Rolls-Royce. Choice is yours. But what happens is there's magic in thinking big. Those two books, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and the Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, two must reads to feed the mind, to condition them.
We dropped that in the chat. So for those of you that are trying to drop notes, I see in the chat you're asking, what were the books again? We did drop that in the chat for you guys to see. This is excellent. I know that Mr. Harvey has an amazing backstory of living in his car. And Galey, you talked a lot about some of the hardships you faced in your relationship and loss of job. So we have a great question kind of centered around that. What are some tips for getting back into it after a setback? Galey, over to you first.
Yeah, so if every day you didn't feel great, you decided not to go to work, you'd probably not be successful at anything, right? So everybody that's going to work every day and they're killing it, I guarantee you there's days that they get up and go to work and they don't feel good. They don't feel like they can kill it. They don't feel like they want to kill it. But they know that this too shall pass and that they've been here before. They felt this way before, and today is no different. And if they just got out and do it, it's like a workout, right? Like I don't always feel great before I'm going to go do a workout, but I know the reward at the end is going to make me feel mentally better, physically better. I'm going to move better. My energy is going to be up. My blood's going to be flowing. So even though I might be tired as heck, and maybe something bad happened the night before, or a guy like didn't text me back or whatever it is, I still get up and I'm like, I'm going to do it because I'm doing this for me. And I've never once regretted a workout, even though I really don't want to start 90% of them. So you just have to play the long game, and you have to know that in the end, it's going to be worth it. And that all these other people around you hustling, trying to make their dreams their reality, and they're saying Rolls Royce and not Volkswagen, they're working on days they don't feel great. And I use that as motivation.
Yeah, that's so, you know what? She just said something that really hit home. The question is, how do you get back into it after a setback? You know what Galey said? This too shall pass. I can't tell you, man, I wish I had understood that factually as a younger person. Oh, I got it down pat now. It don't even bother me anymore. I've practiced it so many times. This too shall pass. You can't think of anything that you've ever gone through or currently going through that you haven't gotten through. Name it. What? No matter how bad it seemed at that time, you've gotten through it, or you're currently going through it right now. And guess what? This too shall pass. That's the truest statement, man. That's the mindset you got to have to understand. You're laying there wallowing in it. You know, when I was going through a really bad time, I was in so much tax trouble, man. Everybody on my team had given up on me in 2008. They're going to come get him. They're going to take everything he owns. There's no way he can pay this much money. It's no way. That particular time, an old guy sent me something. He didn't know nothing about nothing. He just sent it to me. He said, man, I saw you one day. You look a little broken down. I just wanted to send you something. He mailed it to my house. It was a plaque. The plaque said, if you're going through hell, keep going. That's all it said. Just an old man sent that to me. If you're going through hell, keep going. And I sat there and looked at that plaque, because if I'm going through hell, why would I stop there? That don't seem like a good place to park. I'm in hell. I'm going to stop here. No, man, the plaque said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Because guess what Galey said? This too shall pass. And guess what? It passed. It did. And as daunting as I felt at that particular time, it gets that way. What people do when they get into a setback, they think it's permanent. What's permanent? What's permanent? You know, look, man, unless you get convicted, life with no parole. But even I can tell you, I know men who have been convicted with life with no parole and have turned their life into something productive. You know what they do? They take young inmates that come in there so that they don't make the same mistake they made, and they work on them for when they get out. They created a purpose for their life. And I'm telling you, man, this too shall pass. I've had inmates tell me he said, listen, me going to prison was the best thing ever happened to me. And you're sitting there going, what? He said, man, if I'd have stayed out in them streets, I'd have been dead. At least I'm here, I'm living, and I got life. Y'all, we're making some situations. Galey's situation, I mean, look, you think about that. In one fell swoop, you lose your dream house, you lose your health, and the man of your dreams. Let's go over that. Okay? Guess what she said? This too shall pass. That's an amazing thing. That's the mindset you need when you get into a setback, and how do you get back into it? So, because when you're going through hell, just keep going. That ain't the place to park now. It's not. It's hot down there. There are no filling stations. They don't have bottled water in hell.
Do not park there.
Everybody, air conditioner out. It's just why we stop here. You know. So
that's gonna be a T-shirt. Don't park in hell.
Well, what you doing?
Brilliant.